everyone, so we're going to be carrying on with some more geography from last week. So just to recap, what do we remember about physical features? So let's look at this video just to have a remember what was going on and see what we can remember about physical features. So let's see if we can spot any of those physical features. Oh, so in the background, I can see some hills because they are raised areas. This area here kind of looks a bit like a forest. Lots of groups of trees really close together. See, this land here is quite flat, so we may see up here some hills where they are raised. Again, some forest land here. In the background, I can see some hills. We're looking for natural features, things that wouldn't be there, even if humans or people had nothing to do with it. These are things that would still exist. So in the background, I can see some more forest area here, some hills over there. Over there's a hill, like it would be quite tiring to walk up. It's not really, really steep. You can walk up it, but it's a raised bit of area compared to the flat area around it. Let's see if we can see anything else. Let's skip a little bit. Let's see what else we can see. Ooh. Ooh. Ah, here we go. This bit I want. Ah, so here I can see the coast. I can see all the way down here. I can see some beach, some really steep cliffs. I know these are cliffs because they're super steep, super high. In fact, those some tiny little people there. Look how much bigger the cliffs are than those people. Those people would not be able to walk up these cliffs, and they would not be able to walk off the edge of them. I can see this whole area is the coast. I can see the sea. I can see the sea goes all the way out to the ocean, all the way out there. Cliffs, beach. What else can we see? Let's have a look. I can see the ocean and the sea here. Look, oh, beach down here, sandy beach. We talked about sandy beaches before. Sandy beach over there. Oh, this is the sea around here, and it goes all the way out to the ocean, all the way over there. You can see so far to the ocean. See what else is going on. Well, we're only looking for physical features, remember, so only things that would exist even if humans weren't there. So I can see here a bit more forest over here, forest areas. It's quite flat around here. I don't really see any hills. What else can we see? Some more coast area. So I can see beach down there. It's quite sandy. Beach down there. I can't see. Oh, actually, I can see cliffs. These are cliffs here. You just can't quite see over the side of them because they're quite steep. What is this bit here called? What is this called? This is the sea. Fantastic. And if I swim all the way out away from the coast, I come to the ocean. And it's all called the coast around here. So we've got beach, we've got cliffs, we've got sea, we've got ocean, we've got the coast. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we've got lots of things there that we can see that are natural features that we can talk about. Okay, so what kind of things did we see there? So just take a second and think back about what we just looked at, what kind of areas we talked about, what features we saw. We've got some images here to prompt you. I'd like to take a second, shout out at the screen if things you can think of, to what physical features you saw and you can think of that may be around us. Okay. So let's have a look at this one. So here we've got well, this could be the coast. I can see the sea and a cliff. You can see there, very, very, very tiny. There's a tiny little person there. So that shows how big, how tall, how high that cliff is, and how steep it is. Do you think if you walked off the end of there, you'd be straight in the water? You wouldn't be able to like gently walk down at like the hill to school. You'd be straight over the edge and into the water. So this is a nice big cliff right next to the sea. Here I've got, well, here I can see that this bit of area, this bit of land up here is higher up and rounded. So it's higher up and it's rounded compared to the area around it. What's that called? I'd like to shout it out. It is a hill. This is a hill. It's raised. It's rounded. It is a hill. What is this here? This looks like it's like a hole in the side of the side of some rock, maybe the side of a cliff. Maybe the side of in a mountain, in a hill. What's this called? This is a, shout it out. This is a cave. Fantastic, a cave. Got a hole here. What is this picture? Well, there's lots going on in this picture, actually. I can see a beach down here. I can see cliffs. I can see the sea. I can see it goes all the way out to the ocean over there. All together, what would we call this? If we've got all those different things going on, I've got the sea, I've got cliffs, I've got the ocean, I've got the beach. What would we call it? What would we call that area of land if it's got all those things going on? It is called the coast. Fantastic. What about this one? I can see some water. I can see some little waves. What do we think this could be? Well, this could be the sea, or it could be the ocean. Not quite sure, because I know that the sea is a bit of area that is close to land. Can't see any land here, but we don't know. The land could be here. We just might not be able to see it, or it might be the sea. Lots of trees here. In that video, we saw areas with lots of trees, didn't we? Lots of trees really close together. You might be able to walk through them, but once you're inside, like people outside might not be able to see you. What's it called? We've got an area with lots of trees. It's called a forest. Fantastic. I've got another picture here. What have we got going on this picture? Well, here I can see, what is this bit called here? It's maybe sandy. So sand is like tiny, tiny bits of shell of rock, and it feels in your hand. It might feel a bit grainy and a bit rough. It might feel really soft. It might be wet. It might be dry. It's got sand. It could be a beach. Sand beaches can also have lots of little rocks on. They could be a pebbly beach, which is lots of little small rocks. So we've got a beach, we've got the sea here coming in. So we've got the beach, we've got the sea. This is also the coast. Fantastic. Okay. So I've mentioned the word physical features. Physical features a couple of times. Who can tell me what physical features means? What does physical features mean? It means if there were no people, they would still exist. So even without people, these things would still exist. So nobody built a cliff, nobody got a hammer and a chisel and built a cliff, nobody, got a spade and dug lots of sand onto the beach. These are things that just naturally exist without humans or people getting involved. Fantastic, okay. So yesterday we looked at two places. It wasn't yesterday, actually, it was last week. I don't know why it says yesterday. Last week we looked at two places. They were Whitby and Eyam. What can you remember about the physical features of these two places? Just take a minute and have a little think. I've got some pictures here. So a picture here and a picture here. What places, which one is which? Which is Eyam and which is Whitby? Well, I know that Whitby was by the sea. So I can see the sea here and a coast, so I can see that this is Whitby. Ooh. Whitby. Fantastic. And I can see that this place here is Eyam, because it's the coast. It is not the coast, it's the countryside. Eyam. Fantastic. So what kinds of things did we see near Whitby? Well, I know that there is some cliffs here. Right here there is some cliffs which are labelled here. So I'm going to draw a picture of my cliff here. I'm going to write cliff in here. It's really hard to write with a mouse. Cliff, fantastic. So I've got a cliff. What else is going on? What have I got down here? What is this bit here called? It looks maybe like be sandy and it's right next to the sea. What would that be called? It'd be called the beach. Beach, fantastic. So I've got a picture of a beach there. I'm just going to draw an arrow. So what else going on? What have I got down here? What is all this blue stuff? What is all this blue stuff? Oh, it might be wet. It might taste a bit salty. What might it be? It is the sea, or we might, when it gets further out, not right in this picture maybe, but all the way out here, if you kept swimming or you got on a boat, it would become the ocean. And last image, so last box, so what is it all together? So we've got beaches, we've got cliffs, we've got the sea. All together, it is the coast. Coast. Which I think this image is right here. So we've got the coast. Let's look up here. So what have we got going on in this picture? So in Eyam, what kinds of things do we see? Well, I know there's things like hills in the background, hill. I know we've got some forest. I know we can't see it in this picture, but I know we have some cliffs. We might call them crags as well if they are inland and not near the sea. Fantastic. That was a great recall, year one. Let's have a look at what we're doing today. So we're going to be looking at another two places. Oh, wow. So many places to look at. So last week we looked at Whitby and Eyam, and now we're going to look at somewhere called Hathersage. Can you say Hathersage? Hathersage. Hathersage. So Hathersage is not far from Sheffield. We might look at that at the moment, but let's just look at this video of Hathersage and see what physical features. What's a physical feature again? Who can remind me? What's a physical feature? It is something that would exist if there were no people about. So it's natural. It would be there if there was no people and no one made it. So let's look at this video and see what physical features we can spot and compare it to other places. Okay, so what's going on in this video? Let's have a look for those physical features that we've been talking about. Oh, so I see lots and lots of trees. Bit of trees here. Oh, so many trees. What is it when it's called lots of trees really close together? It's called a forest. Wow, look at all this forest area here. And up there, can we see at the top of there, what are they called? Really, really steep areas of rock. They are cliffs, fantastic. So lots of forests, we see some cliffs. In the background there, that looks kind of raised. And it looks hilly, so great, some image of the cliffs here, really steep, look how high they are. Oh, this is not a physical feature, so let's skip past that one. Back out. So let's have a look at this image here. So here we see lots and lots of rounded areas of raised lands. They would be called hills. In the background, all the way up there, we can see that cliff. That cliff is actually called Stanage. It's not really important. We just need to know that it is a cliff. So lots of trees, lots of hills, got some cliffs, got other things going on. Oh, we can see those hills really clearly back there. They're really raised. A hill there. You walked up it, you might get a bit tired, but you'll be able to do it. See what else is going on in Hathersage. Oh wow, look at all those trees. What's it called again? We have lots of trees together. Shout it out. It's called a forest. So we have lots of forests around Hathersage, hills, we've got cliffs. What else have we got going on? Wow, how green is it? You see all the green areas. So it's so green. You see trees and grass, hills. Can't see the, oh, and there's that cliff again up there. There's the cliff again. Super steep, wouldn't be able to walk down that. No, I wouldn't like to walk off the end of it. Fantastic, year one, okay. Fantastic, okay, so in that video we saw lots of different physical features around Hathersage. So what kind of places did we see? Ooh, quite similar to EM, wasn't it? But maybe a little bit different. What kind of things did we see? Shout it out, have a little think and then shout it out. Can you remember what kind of physical features we saw? Well, first of all, we might have seen some hills. So what's a hill again? What is a hill? So this is from that video. We've got some raised, rounded areas. A hill is a raised bit of land that is rounded and it's higher than the area surrounding it. So here we can see that this is a bit lower down here and here it's higher. So if you walked all the way up here, you might be a bit tired. Like the hill you might walk up to get to school, but these are quite natural hills. They're quite rounded. They're not super steep, but you can walk up them, might get a bit tired, and they're quite rounded and they're quite green in this picture. What else did we see? What else did we see in Hathersage? What else can you think of? Physical features. What else can you think of? Cliffs. We definitely saw some cliffs. So we said that there was these great big cliffs in Hathersage or around Hathersage, maybe not in the village itself, but around Hathersage. So if you're a person, you might only be this big on this cliff. So if you're this big, you're not going to be able to walk up this cliff very easily. You're not going to be able to walk over the top of it because it's very, very steep. So we know cliffs are steep and they are high. And this is a cliff, even though it's not near the coast, Hathersage has cliffs. And last one, oh, what do you think it's going to say? It is a forest. What is a forest again? What can we see in this picture here that makes a forest? We can see lots and lots of trees all together, all these trees crowded in really closely, there's so many of them. This makes a forest. These are the natural features we saw in Hathersage. The next place we're going to look at is Scarborough. Scarborough, can you say Scarborough? Me again, Scarborough. Okay, so we're going to look at Scarborough. So we're going to look at this video and see what physical features we can see in Scarborough. What's a physical feature again? So a physical feature is anything that would naturally exist without people. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is Scarborough. Let's have a look what's happening in Scarborough. Ooh, so we can see the sea and we can see that this is a coastal area. So the coastal area means where land meets the sea. It is a coastal area. What else can we see? So I can see the sea all around here. Remember, only looking for natural features. In the background, I can see some trees and quite a lot of trees. So maybe we can see some forests around the edges of Scarborough. Scarborough has a sea, has forest, has a coast. What else can we see? Oh, is this quite steep? Would you say that's quite steep? It's maybe a cliff. Oh, down here, what can we see? Quite steep, quite high cliffs. I can definitely see a bit of beach down there when the waves are pulling up. So I can see the sea. I can see beaches, I can see cliffs, I can see forest here, lots and lots of trees all close together, very forest-like. The sea, what else can we see? Lots of trees. Oh, maybe a bit hilly. It's we'll have to walk quite up there, won't we? That's raised than the rest of the ground. So maybe there's some forest, there's some hills, the sea, the beach, there's cliffs. There's a lot going on in Scarborough, isn't there? What else can we see? So here I can see those cliffs again. Nice and clear cliffs there, a bit of a beach down here, altogether it's coastal, goes up maybe on some hills, small areas of forest land. If we went away from Scarborough and we swam all the way through that sea, I think we would see the ocean. Fantastic. Okay, so we just watched that video about Scarborough and some of its natural features. So what can you remember what you saw in that video? I'm just going to give you 10 seconds to have a little think about the natural features you saw in that video. Okay, if you can think of any, I would like you to shout them out now, and we can go through what we saw together in a second. So what kind of things did you see? Okay, did you see the coast? So what is the coast again? So the coast is anywhere the land meets the sea. So Scarborough is a coastal area because it is the coast. We can see the land and we can see sea and we can see them meeting. So that makes it the coast. Scarborough has a coast. What else does Scarborough have? Physical features. What other physical features? We saw some forest areas, didn't we? So we see lots of trees together in quite a close area. We can say that is forest area. So here is some forest area. Fantastic. Okay, what else did we see in Scarborough? What else did we see in Scarborough? We saw the ocean. So right next to the land is the sea, but we can see if you follow it all the way out, it goes into the ocean. So we know that Scarborough, if you go out from the sea, is the ocean. What else did we see? What else did we see? We saw some cliffs. So here we can see a cliff. It's very steep and it's very high. You would not like to walk off it. It is a cliff. So there's a lot going on in Scarborough, isn't there? There's a lot of these natural features. It's a really interesting place. Last one, we can see the beach and the sea. So here along the coast, I can see the beach. So it looks quite sandy, doesn't it? It's probably quite a lot of pebbles down there. You can maybe walk along it, and rolling up onto the beach, splashing on it, making it wet is the sea. Okay, fantastic. So now we've looked at these two different places. We're going to look at trying to compare them. So, one second, cannot find my right button. Okay, so just looking again, what kind of features did we have? So we just watched those two videos and just had a bit of a discussion about the physical features that those areas had. And these two pictures are from those two areas. Although they might not show all of the physical features, it just gives an idea. You have to remember some of it in your head. So this first picture up here is Hathersage. So Hathersage is quite a green area, isn't it? We see lots and lots of greenery, lots of trees, lots of fields, lots of grass, lots of plants growing. It's quite a green area. Okay, so up here we've got an arrow pointing all the way up here, and up here I can see that this is, what is that? Well, it looks really steep and quite high. It looks like it might be made of rock. It would make it a, what is this up here? A cliff. A cliff. Fantastic. Okay, so Hathersage has some cliffs around it, and the outskirts of Hathersage has cliffs. We've got an arrow pointing down here. So what is this area down here? Oh, what are all these? What are all these? And when there's lots of them together, what is that called? What is that natural feature called? Well, actually, there's lots and lots of trees all together. That would make this a forest. So we've got some forest surrounding Hathersage Forest. Fantastic. And up here, we've got pointing to a raised area of land. So up here, down here, we can see it's quite low, it's quite flat. And then if we want to walk uphill, we'd end up here. So this is a hill. But we also saw in Hathersage that we have things. What else did we have? We have hills, we have cliffs, we have forests, lots of greenery, lots of things going on. Okay, let's have a look at Scarborough now. Let's compare it to Scarborough. So Scarborough has a lot going on, didn't it? Can you remember in Scarborough? So what physical features did we see in Scarborough? Well, we can see here that we can see what is this water rolling on? What is this water that's coming up onto the land here? What is it called when the water's right next to the land? It's called the sea. If we swam away from the coast, if we swam far out into the sea, what would it become? It would become the ocean. So we also know that Scarborough is surrounded by the ocean and the sea. Okay, what is this area down here? It looks quite golden, maybe quite sandy. Sand's quite like small grains of shell and rock. What do you think this is down here? This is the beach. Beach, fantastic. Oh, so Scarborough, we also have, what is this up here? So you've got to walk uphill. So it's a hill. There's hilly areas, isn't there, surrounding Scarborough? It's not flat like Whitby was. It's quite hilly. And we can't see in this picture, we also know there was cliffs. We saw cliffs surrounding Scarborough. Can't see in this picture though. Cliffs, and we also know that Scarborough is the coast. So your activity for today is to write me down the same and different features of Scarborough and Hathersage. So we now discussed all the features they have. What was the same and what was different? So what did Scarborough and Hathersage have the same and what did they have different? Well, I'm going to help out with a little one. I can see that Hathersage and Scarborough both had forests. We can see forests in both of these areas, and you might not be able to see them in these pictures, but we know from the videos we watched that both of those areas had a forest. So in the same section, I'm going to write forest. So I know both those areas had a forest near them, so forest. Fantastic, okay. But different, so what different did they have? Well, I know that Scarborough has a coast. Does Hathersage have a coast? Does Hathersage have a coast? Just have a little think. Did we ever see a sea near Hathersage? No. So Scarborough has a coast and Hathersage does not. There's some images down here to help you. I would like you to have a go at doing this yourselves. So you can either pause the screen and copy it off here. You can download it off the school website, or you can pick this up from the school to have a go at this. You can cut out the pictures and stick them on, or you can write the words. There are many options you complete this year one. I'd be super impressed if you had a go at this. It's been lovely speaking to you today, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, year one.